First of all, I am going to show you some gorgeous fluff. No, this podcast hasn't taken a worrying new turn. I'm talking about spinning fibre. Now, I said... Hello lovely people, and welcome to the June 2020 episode of the Not Quite Enough Yarn podcast. My name is Leslie, and this is a podcast about knitting, spinning, crochet, bit of weaving, predominantly yarn crafts, recorded on the south coast of England. Hope you're all well, hope you're all doing okay. I know things are changing across the world with the restrictions relating to COVID. Hope you're all keeping safe, that's the main thing. Whether restrictions are the same or easing, hope that you can keep safe and do what you want to do without feeling under pressure or feeling at risk. So welcome everyone. If you're a new viewer or returning viewer, you're very welcome here. Thank you for coming back, thank you for finding me for the first time, as appropriate. I record this throughout the month. Well, I say that. It's the 21st. I'm only just doing the intro because it's been that sort of a month. But I do record it in sections and then put them all together. And I upload on the last weekend of the month. And this month, being the end of the second quarter, there will be prizes to give away later. I'm involved in two make-alongs. The first is the Stashmal 2020. This is co-hosted with the wonderful Barbara from the Flame and Fibre podcast, and it is a use from your stash make-along. So to be eligible, the items had to be in your stash by the end of last year, so by the 31st of December 19, and the project had to be started on or after 1st of January 2020. The only exception to that is if you had a project that would have been eligible for last year's stash mail but didn't get finished in time, so you can carry those forward, but anything else we'd like to have started beginning of this year. And the idea is that you use stuff up from your stash. If you have to buy something to complete a project, that's absolutely fine. Obviously it's fine, it's your knitting, you can do what you like. But to be eligible for the prizes, no more than 50% of the total, please. So, hope that's all clear. So that's the first make-along, and also Barbara has another make-along which is for neck items at the moment. So check out her podcast, I'm sure you do already. Have a look at her Ravelry group, and she's got that second make-along running there. The other make-along that I'm involved with is co-hosted by the wonderful Kellyanne from Yarn Tales by the Sea, and this is the Ocean Mal 2020. So it's anything ocean, sea, beach, anything that can be connected with the sea. Again, have a look at her podcast as well, check out her Ravelry group, and it can be something traditional sea colours, blues, greens, but it can also be a yarn name that is related to the beach or something sea related. It can be a pattern, it can have waves in it. If you can convince us that it's something to do with the sea, you're eligible. That's it. For both make-alongs, there are threads in my Ravelry group, so that's the Not Quite Enough Yarn Ravelry group, and there are two threads for each. There's a finished object thread, which as the name suggests is where you put your finished objects. By all means put a bit of description, but it's a no chatter thread, so the idea is just each post is a finished item. And we also have chatter threads for both make-alongs, and that's for whatever you want it to be. So again, put your finished objects in there, put your work in progress in there, comment on each other's work, whatever you'd like it to be. So thank you to everyone who's involved in that. If you haven't got your stuff in by now, there's next quarter, there's the quarter after. They're both running for the whole year, so you have plenty of time, but by all means please take part. Both make-alongs have 2 prizes at the end of each quarter. Finished object thread has a physical prize, so yarn, something of that nature, and the chatter thread has a pattern prize, so a pattern that can be sent to you via Ravelry up to the value of $10 US. Hope that's all clear. There is a video which I recorded at the beginning of the year setting out those rules, and the link for that and for anything else is in the notes, which clearly are down here, otherwise I'm just doing a really bad rock horns. So so I hope you're all well. What else do I normally say at the beginning? I am known as Knitting or Death on social media, so come and find me there. I'm probably most active on Ravelry, fairly active on Instagram, but that's probably more as a lurker and a liker rather than a creator. And I can't remember the last time I went on Twitter, so I wouldn't bother looking for me there. Probably some spam bot by now, so yeah, I hope you're all doing well. This month I don't have a huge number of finished objects. I've been working on a specific large project which you'd have seen last month. It's my sister's jacket. It's the Winterfolk by Hohi Locatelli, and I'll give you a progress report later in the month when I hopefully will be further through it. Oh, it's a beautiful piece. It's just big because it's a coat, so it feels a bit But there is a small finished object. Now I've already given it away, so here's a bit of footage about it. Hello lovelies, I'm taking advantage of an empty house while himself and the dog are out for a walk to just show you a very quick finished object. It's currently Saturday, and on Tuesday our newest neighbour, they moved into the street about 5-6 weeks ago, announced the arrival of their new baby. Baby was born at home, which is what they'd hoped for, so pleased they managed to get what they wanted with that. And yes, new little lad, I think. Yeah, they haven't given him a name yet, so that's why I can't remember what he is. Baby. So what knitter doesn't love a baby? Don't necessarily want one of their own, but what knitter doesn't love a baby? So I thought I would make this little cardigan. So this is the Fuss Free Baby Cardigan by Louise Tilbrook. And the original pattern is for short sleeved, so normally you just have a few rows here and that would be it. But we decided to go long sleeved on this one, so all I did is I knitted straight down. In the past I have done this and I've done slight decreases. In this case I knitted straight down and then did a slightly smaller cuff, only 4 rows of garter stitch rather than the 8 that are at the base. It's a free pattern on Ravelry and it's a sweet little thing, and I am so off brand because I have too much yarn. This is some yarn I got at Lidl some years ago. It's the So Crafty cotton mix. It's a cotton acrylic blend. And the last time I used some, I used more than half of what I'd got. Admittedly, a different pattern, and one based in garter stitch, and probably slightly bigger too. But I immediately thought, oh, I'm not going to have enough for another baby garment, so I thought I would stripe in. And this is just some cotton that I've got in the stash, same weight. So I have yarn left over. I had too much yarn. But I think it actually looks quite cute with the stripes. I think plain would just be more ordinary. That's my excuse. No, I do quite like the stripes. I think they lift it. So yes, I shall put this to the neighbour and leave it on their doorstep. What a strange world we live in. But yes, I shall deliver this to them and hope that they like it, and hope that it keeps little lad warm. I thought cotton would probably be sensible as we're kind of heading towards summer, so that's what I went for. I never swatch for baby items unless it's absolutely crucial for a very intricate pattern. So I didn't swatch for this. I actually came up not quite on gauge, but this is to fit a chest size of 18 inches, so that should be fine. So that's the Fuss Free Baby Cardigan by Louise Tilbrook, and I did it in just a few evenings. So cool. There we go. So that's been given to its recipient, and now I shall show you what else I have. And we have a few acquisitions this month. People who've been here a while will know that this is called the Not Quite Enough Yarn podcast. Oh, hello. Podcast. Because I have a lot of yarn. I have 3 cupboards worth, but I have more than 3 cupboards worth. My initial goal, for those who are back here at the beginning, was to get everything down to fitting into 2 cupboards. That's gone really well, hasn't it? Moving on, got some lovely acquisitions this month. You can see my problem. Yes, so not quite enough yarn because I have a lot of yarn, but rarely enough of the same colour for a single project. Sometimes, and it comes as a shock to all of us, I'll be perfectly honest, but usually not quite enough, hence the name. It became a bit of a standing joke at my knitting group that I'd put in a stripe or colour block or something. I didn't have quite enough yarn, and there we go. But I have more yarn this month, some of which I've made. So this is a finished object and more yarn, and this beauty here, which is fluffed up very big, is some hand spun. I started spinning towards the end of last year, sort of I think it was November time last year. Prior to that, I had been bought an alpaca fleece. I went to an alpaca farm with my mate Mandy, hi Mand, and she very kindly got me that as a birthday gift. And my ambition was initially to wash it and treat it and card it and all that myself. And then I was with another friend, Claire of the Ferret and Gibbon podcast, hi Claire, and we went to the local Knitters, Spinners and Dyers Guild show, and there was an exhibitor there who treats alpaca fleeces, and it turns out they are very close to one of the places where I work, so that looked like a good deal. So they had my fleece for a couple of months, but they washed it, treated it, combed it, made it perfect just to start spinning with. So I've been spinning it now, thanks to advice from lovely folks I've received on here. I was advised to test the drape because alpaca doesn't have that sort of structure and elasticity that sheep's wool has. So I was advised to just do a sample, make sure I was happy with what I was producing. And I decided, thanks to their advice, so thank you again to those folks, that I would do a classic 3-ply, 2 plies of alpaca and 1 of wool. My overall plan is to make a garment out of this hand spun, and because of the nature of alpaca, it will be a tunic. It will be a loose floaty thing. I'm not going to try and do a structured piece. It will be something loose and floaty. But here is my first big skein of yarn. The yarn that isn't alpaca on here is some Polworth from Witchcraftylady, and we can see it's got some variation in the colour. It's a beautiful braid, predominantly white, but with these bright, there's yellow, there's purple. I've got another one to use for the next batch, which is a softer coloured version, more pastel. But I am very, very happy with how this has turned out. It's not perfect. If I wanted completely uniform and perfect, I would buy yarn, probably commercially produced. But I wanted to make this, and I have. So this particular skein is 172 grams. It's 374 metres, and it's come out at about 13 wraps per inch, which is somewhere around the sport DK weight of yarn, which is about right for the sort of yarn that I normally use. There is a bit of thick and thin in there. That's okay. I am more than happy to live with that. But I am really happy with how this has turned out, and it feels nice and soft. So I'm hoping that the Polworth will add a bit of structure. I need to take my head out of that to get that in. No, it's not going to work, is it? So the Polworth will give it a bit of body, hopefully. And the alpaca is giving it such lovely softness. Not that the Polworth is scratchy, but the alpaca is, as you would expect, rather soft and lovely. So this is kind of where we're at with it. Skein one down, however many to go. The nature of the fluff, it looks like I haven't used any at all. I think I can go on spinning forever with this alpaca. The box is still full, so because there's just so much air in it. But that is skein one. I have ordered another skein from Witchcraftylady, which I'll show you when it arrives. Again, slightly different variation, but I don't want this to be uniform all the way down. It's just nice to have something in the same kind of area. So that's that. Now, I have also been given yarn this month. The generosity of people staggers me. And Valerie, who is a podcast viewer, she's been watching the daily vlog. And Valerie, you are just so very generous. I'm so grateful to you. She sent me a pattern. It's a pattern she's making as well. Now, because of the big project I'm working on, I haven't been able to join in and make along with her, but I'll catch up soon. But she has just sent me the most beautiful yarns. Just stunning. So I have 2 skeins from TedKnits UK. She said to me she joined a virtual yarn festival for the first time and went shopping. So how lucky am I to be the recipient. So this is TedKnits UK, this is Odyssey, and it's a merino nylon 75-25. I think Odyssey is the colourway. I was calling it his Odyssey base, but I think Odyssey is the colourway. But look at that, those greens, got those yellows in there, just stunning. Knowing that I like soft things, Valerie also got me this wonderful yarn from FibreFox. This is the Suri Silk Cloud Base in the Bahamas colourway. And again, beautiful blues and greens, and my goodness, that is soft. It went all out of focus then, and I think that's the camera reflecting just how soft and fluffy this is. And Valerie didn't stop there. She also got me Stranded Dyeworks Merino Yak Silk, which is just as gorgeous a feel as you would expect it to be, in the old overalls colourway. And just look at that. That's a DK weight yarn. It is beautiful. So Valerie, again, I don't think I can ever thank you enough for these. They are just absolutely phenomenal. So thank you. Oh, good Lord. Right. Now, I did do some buying as well. See, when I started this, early 2018, was it? Yeah, that would make sense. I said, I'm not buying any yarn. And for a long time, I didn't buy yarn, apart from my one visit to Unravel last year. I was very restrained. People often gave me yarn, and I'm always grateful, but I wasn't buying yarn. And this year, there was a global pandemic, so I started buying yarn. And initially, I was just buying yarn to support indie dyers. Then it kind of went a bit off the rails. Always with a good reason. I can justify anything, mate, I tell you. But no, I did start buying some yarn. So, bought some grey commercial yarn last month for my sister's cardigan. And this month, I wasn't even buying from a yarn company, I was buying it on eBay. So none of that money was going direct to the yarn company. On the plus side, they had the full value of it. I got it at a discount price. So what I bought was some Debbie Bliss Milano. Are you going to focus? Are you going to focus? There we go, thank you. So this, as you can see, is a really non-standard yarn. It's 40% wool, 28% polyamide, 18% silk, 8% polyester, 6% acrylic. It's basically a mongrel. It's okay, I like mongrels. But it is such an unusual yarn that it's then hard to get others to go with it. Even if you want the different textures, getting something where your gauge is similar all the way down is not always easy. The reason why I bought this is because when I inherited some yarn, so I just went to double check something, because I've just realised that the order... Let me go back a bit, sorry. Oh dear, welcome to my world. Yeah, so the reason why I ordered this yarn is because I already had 2 lots of 10 balls in 2 different colours. And these were inherited from the stash of a dear friend who sadly died a little while ago. And she had got them as an absolute bargain. She had got them at such a knockdown price. Good on ya. And I liked it, and I thought it would make a great smart jacket, but I didn't have enough. So I ordered some more. Now I am going all vague and woolly because I thought the colour I'd ordered was different to what I already had, and actually it's the same. Different dye lot, and so I will keep them separate. But, is that going to focus? No, it's not. They are both the same colour. For some reason I thought one was more yellow. Anyway, not going to worry about that right now. So what I plan to do is colour block it. So I'll have one of them at the top, then a thick band of this, and then this. So that is my plan. It will be a winter type project. Probably be at least then before I get started on it. The weight of this yarn is, they recommend a 5mm needle. So they say 17 stitches for 4 inches. So it should be quite a quick project once I get going on it. I will probably go denser in terms of fabric rather than looser, because I do want it to be quite a structured thing when I make it. But I've either got to find a pattern or make one. Please let me find one to work on that. But yeah, I never put the two together to realise that I had 2 of the same colour. Like I say, they are different dye lots, so I will separate them. But that is... I've just surprised myself there. Yeah, so that was bought on eBay, and I now have enough to make a whole item, so I will get cracking on that when I get the opportunity. So those are my acquisitions this month. I will put a little piece in shortly, recorded in the car, of my current car project, which is also some of my inherited yarn from my friend. And I will be back later in the month with an update on my works in progress.
Hello lovelies, I am between appointments, so I thought I would show you the blanket I'm working on in the car. Now, unusually for me, here we go. I can't show it in full scale because of the size of the thing, but unusually for me, it's not a written pattern. It's a YouTube tutorial. I'll put the link down below. The blanket is called the Witchcraftylady crochet blanket, and the beginning was a little fiddly, just the very centre. I'll show you that there. That took a little bit of getting used to, but the rest, it's a really straightforward pattern to follow. Technically they call it a 2-row pattern repeat, but realistically the logic of the pattern just carries around. It's just the 2 rows start slightly differently to keep the pattern moving correctly. Yes, I'd not done one from a YouTube tutorial before. It doesn't really make a lot of difference to me, but I can appreciate for some that's a great way to take on a pattern, because it's a nice visual, easy to follow way of doing it. The yarn is Patons Coral. Let me show you that. As you can see, it's a DK weight. It is 60-something% acrylic. 61% cotton, 39% acrylic. And you can see that it's sort of fine strands twisted round thicker strands. Nice mild effect. Could enter it into Amy's mile along, should the mood require. This is yarn that I inherited from a friend when her yarn was sent to me, so there's quite a bit of it. I think I had about 6 or 7 balls, and I've got, oh no, it might have been more than that, because I've got about 7 left. I've got about 4 left, so it would be quite a good size blanket. I don't know if this would be the first choice of colours for the parents, but I figured even if it's just throw it on the ground and let baby roll around on it type blanket, it'll hopefully be useful and they can just sling it in the washing machine. And like I say, I've got enough yarn to make a good size of it. So this is what I'm currently working on when I'm in the car between appointments. Very simple pattern to remember, very straightforward. And I think it's one I'll do again. The granny square is usually my go-to, as it is for a lot of people. And it's nice to have something that's equally simple, but just looks a little bit different. And I quite like the way the eyelets, or the filet eyelets, come in that. So, yes, all good stuff.
Hello lovelies, hope you're all doing okay. Yeah, it's the last weekend of the month, so I'm going to wrap everything up now. Actually, that would be opening everything up. Wrapping everything would be this way. I digress. But now I said that I would show you the fibre from Witchcraftylady when it arrived. And it's arrived. So we have this beauty here. So we have Polworth. I still feel like, you know how you say words often enough and they go weird? So yes, Polworth in this wonderful variation of colour, teal and purple. I mean, oh, just a bit gorgeous. Then some other yarn, fibre even. Oh, and Amas from Witchcraftylady also put in some gorgeously soft Falkland, Corriedale, Perrindale. That is, oh. Then I found some on, I think, Etsy that was kind of reduced to clear, which that just makes your heart a little bit happier. Not that we're all out to just kind of do over everyone, but it's always nice to get a bargain. This is from A Knit Away. Hopefully that will focus. Thank you. And again, very pretty kind of teals and into the pinks and purples. So definite theme going here. And then I had a delivery, which I wasn't expecting, but was delighted to receive, and it was a gift. So again, Deb, thank you so much, because she got me some more fibre from Witchcraftylady, and I have 2 of these beauties. So this is the Sunset over Sedona colourway, which is just fabulous. So Deb, thank you, just so lovely. So lots of spinning to be done with lots of lovely colours. And I'm feeling very lucky and very spoiled, so thank you so much. Just all gorgeousness. Now I've got some works in progress to show you, and they are the same works in progress that I showed you last month. I have been predominantly working on one of them. I'll save that till last. but the other two are kind of chugging on. This is the Lysvirka, and I've now finished the first half. So I think last month, I don't think I put a marker in, but I think I was kind of round about here. It's worked from the centre out, and so I have done the sleeve. I have changed the sleeve from the pattern. It's a looser, kind of flappier sleeve, and I'm not a fan of a flappy sleeve, as we know. So I've tapered it in more. This may mean that I haven't weighed it, but I may not have needed to buy the second skein of the yarn that I'm using on the sleeve, which is the luxury yarns. We're in this together. And if I find that I didn't need it, I just say, oh dear, how sad, what a shame. So, I have the second half to do. I have this dark yarn I split into two. The rest I have similar colourways. So for the other half it won't quite be matching, but it will be similar. So I have a grey and I have a bright. Let me take this off and show you. Yeah, so that's the sleeve shape. So I've tapered it in because that suits my sort of comfort levels more. Really enjoying this pattern. Still planning to make another one. I would like to make one in a double knitting weight because it would suit a lot of the yarn I have in the stash. But what I love is the drape of the fingering weight. And my fear is that it's a bit like when people have made a boxy in fingering weight and then gone on to make a worsted weight one and not enjoyed it because the feel is very different. So I'll have to ponder on that. I'm folding this very badly because I want to show you how the yarns are going to go. So we're not quite matching, but we're similar. So there's the bright. And with the grey, slightly darker grey base, but I think I'll get away with it. I also think I don't really care because I'm just enjoying making it and I'll enjoy wearing it, so job done. So that is the first one, so that's Lysvirka. I'll put the details in the notes below, and I'm hopeful that when I've finished my larger major project I will crack on with that. Now the second work in progress will always be a slower make because of when I work on this. Now this is the one that I work on when I'm checking stuff on my computer, when I'm reading aloud work items. So it will always be a pick up put down project. The pattern is Stillness, and this was a pattern that was given to me, for which I'm very grateful. This is where I was last time. It's a Chevy Rail stitch marker there, and so I've only done this little bit, but it's a slow steady progress. I have these projects that are very straightforward to knit, so that I can just knit round and round while I'm checking work on my screen. Every now and again I'll swap them out for something else if I need to do more thought on this rather than just round and round with sort of minimal shaping, or if I've got something else I want to work on, or just sometimes when I get to the point where I kind of want to get these done, then I'll move them into a different location, a different circulation. So that's the Stillness. We are on the last, so this is the last of the contrast colours. I'm about to start repeating. So we've got this grey here, which has got a little bit of sparkle in it, and then my next stripe will be back on this paler pink colour. So that's that one. Sorry it's bunched up on the needle, because I'm working in the round at the moment and I'm getting towards the widest part before I split for the sleeves. It's a lot of stitches, so next time you see it, hopefully I will have split for the C's, the C's? And the D's and the E's and the F's. I will have split for the sleeves. Words, sentence, construction, doesn't always work. But hopefully it will make more sense and look less bunched up and gathered, whatever this means. So that's that. So now we're on to the major work in progress. This is Winter Folk by Joji Locatelli, and this is something that I would like to have finished in a fortnight's time. And to give you an idea of how I've been concentrating on this, this marker here shows you where I was when I showed it to you last. So I was at this point, let me show you it with the cable pattern showing. So I was there, and I'm now there. So I've done a lot. It's A-line, so the rows get slightly longer as we go down, but we are getting there. So it's a hooded jacket, and it's got this cable panel on the two fronts and also down the centre back. And we're getting there. I've got about another 2 inches, I think, to do of the back, and then a short rib. And then we're on to the sleeves. The sleeves don't have the pattern, so they should be relatively quick, hopefully. And then the hood. And I've found when I've made hooded items before that the hood always is bigger than you think it will be. You know, it has to be because heads are kind of this big. And so it's going to take a while, but if I carry on concentrating on just this, I'm still hopeful that I'll get it done. The reason why we have the deadline is it's my sister's 60th birthday, and we will be seeing her in a responsible and socially distanced way, and I would like to give her this. And you might be thinking, well, will she want a knitted coat in July? This sister might. She's someone who does feel the cold very readily, so whereas the rest of us might be thinking, oh, wool, she probably won't. So the yarn is, it's a King Cole Fashion Aran. It's a wool acrylic mix, and it does mean it's machine washable, so it will be practical. Because the other thing she does, and this is very much a family trait, because I do it too, is spill food down herself quite regularly. So machine washable is probably a good idea. So hopefully, by the end of the next month's podcast, I won't have this anymore, because she will, but I will have recorded a section with it complete and done. Maybe even her wearing it if she's happy to do that. So this is what I've predominantly been working on. It's a bit of a beast, but it is a lovely beast, and I look forward to it being done. But I am enjoying working on it. I'm enjoying working on it more than I thought, considering I'm focusing on one project. It's all one colour, and it's getting bigger as the rows, as I work through more rows. I'm still enjoying it. So that is a tribute to the podcast that I've been watching whilst I've been doing this. So in my completion of this garment, I would like to thank Aquila, Lefty Knitter podcast, Kalisha, Quirky Monday podcast, Gigi Made It, Caroline, Dunderknit, Knitting Vicariously, Amy Florence, A Stranded podcast, Barbara, Flame and Fibre podcast, Anita, Gaga Knits, I'm sure I've forgotten someone, Ramona, But I'm Knitting podcast. I will list all of these because they have got me through this baby. So thank you to all of those podcasters for keeping me knitting. So we are getting towards the end of the month, and it's the end of the quarter, so it is draw time. And I have made the drawers for the mals. Now unfortunately, because I'm a fairly disorganised person, I have ordered the yarn for the prizes, but it's not with me yet, so I can't show you by going like this, but I will put pictures up on screen from the dyers. So hopefully you'll get a sense of what's coming to you. Before I announce these, I am very aware at the moment that there are problems for a lot of people in using Ravelry since it's been redesigned. It's been up for about 10 days, and at first I was quite glib, saying, yeah, some people are finding a problem with it, but I'm sure, you know, they just sort of darken it. Yeah, I had no idea of the seriousness of the difficulties that some people are having. So it's not just that it's a bit light and glary, it's been causing migraines, in some cases it's been causing seizures. It would appear, as at time of recording, it would appear that the Ravelry response has been disappointing. I am more than aware that they are a small team of people managing this vast, enormous community database site, you know, however you want to describe what Ravelry is. It doesn't appear that they are handling the problems well at the moment. Some fixes have been made. It's the way that things have been worded that perhaps haven't been quite as... not showing as much understanding as you might hope. I'm not going to get into that. People far more qualified than I are doing so in other platforms. The reason why I'm raising this is the 2 make-alongs I'm involved in both run on Ravelry. We've really got to... I'm trying to think what's best to do. I'm going to announce the prizes. Now, I have an email address, so if there are folks that are prize winners, but they can't use Ravelry at the moment because it's causing them health problems, please email me and we'll work out a way around it. I'm thinking more in terms of the pattern prizes here, because normally that would be a pattern from Ravelry. If that's not possible for you, please email me, get in touch, and we'll work around it. Moving forward, I'm really trying to work out what to do at the moment. I'm really hoping that these problems get resolved. There is a possibility that that's just wishful thinking, because I've always been such a big fan of Ravelry and what it offers and what it's like as a database. And I know that some people are beginning to say, gosh, that is a monopoly, that's a bit worrying, and I understand that, but it's the convenience of that one place for everything, that if we were to lose that as a community, I would be very sad to see stuff going in all different directions, because people will fall down the gaps when that happens. So at the moment, everything is still running the same way with the make-alongs, and they're running on Ravelry, but it is something that I'm going to keep an eye on, and I will keep you updated. If you are someone who can't use Ravelry at the moment, the last thing I want is for you to feel excluded from the make-alongs. So I'm trying to think of good ways to include people who aren't able to use that particular method at the moment. I'm having a think about it. I haven't got answers yet. Like I say, I'm hoping that the problems will be resolved, and although feelings towards the site may have changed, it hopefully won't exclude anyone from taking part in this if they would like to. This is where we are at the minute, and it's really tricky and difficult, and I may be wishful thinking, but I really just hope that the problems get resolved. Even if it just means we click everything back to how it looked before and then go forward from a new starting place. I don't know enough about web design, and I don't know enough about the neurological conditions that are causing these problems. I just know that it's happening. So I can't get too involved in discussions of how, what, why and when, because I don't have the technical knowledge. All I know is people's experiences that they're telling me and that I'm reading, and people are struggling. So we're keeping everything crossed that this problem gets resolved. If it doesn't, or if it doesn't in a timely fashion, then in terms of the make-alongs, we'll come up with another way of doing things. At the moment, nothing is changing, but I am keeping an eye open to deal with stuff. So if you do have projects that would be eligible and you would like to take part, if you can just keep the details, once we know a bit more what's happening, and if there is an alternative, we kind of open that up, then that will be the forum for you to use. That sounded a bit rambly. I hope that made sense. My biggest hope is that it gets sorted. So yeah, so that's a bit of a buzzkill. So now on to happier stuff and people who've actually won things. Yay! So starting off with the Stashmal 2020, and the prize from the chatter thread. In all of these I used a random number generator. So on the Stashmal chatter thread I went from post number 266 to 540, and the winner is post number 283, which is user Lynn Clary, and Lynn was responding to another poster's compliment on a project. So lovely, fantastic, beautiful project. So Lynn, if you're able to get hold of me, please. I'm assuming Lynn is actually your name. Forgive me if that's an erroneous assumption. If you could please get hold of me on Ravelry, or if you're not using Ravelry, via the email address, and we'll sort out the pattern prize. If you are able to use Ravelry, great, and it's a pattern prize up to a value of $10 US. That would be great. I can just make that a gift to you, and that's easy. If not, please still get in contact and we'll work out how to do that. So thank you very much, and thank you for taking part. Congratulations. The FO prize. Now the prize is a yarn from Third Vault Yarns. I'll put a picture here. So it's a skein of this yarn, which is the Wakti Wapnazi colourway. Of course, it's a Dirk Gently reference, and anything that has come out of the mind of Douglas Adams is okay with me. So I hope you enjoy this colourway. And I did a random number generator between post number 612 and post number 1121. And the winner is Why the Floof on post number 775. That's Linda from Montreal, and she posted a picture of a baby jumper, which I will put here. I hope that's okay, Linda. And that was using yarn from 2014. Good stash usage there. So Linda, thank you so much. Please get hold of me to claim the prize, and I will get that in the post to you with a few extra little goodies once I've got it here. So those are the Stashmal prizes. The Ocean Mal, so a pattern prize again for the chatter thread. Random number generator between post numbers 20 and 58. And the winner was post number 20. And the username is TNT Crochet Hookers. And it's a work in progress photo of her seaside Afghan. So thank you so much for taking part. Please do get in touch with me. Let me know, again, a pattern prize up to a value of $10 US. Contact me please either via Ravelry or on the email address below, and we'll sort out getting that prize to you. Thank you for taking part. Congratulations. And the Ocean Mal finished object prize. Last one, everyone else. It's okay. This is yarn from Dusty Dimples, and it's in her puddle colourway. So it's one of these skeins, and I didn't write down the number, but I have the details. I will find the number as well. But I went from 69 to 138, and the winner was Four Pines Knitting, who is Lynn from Lewiston, Maine. And Lynn has made the, is it Yuma by Isabel Kramer in the Beachcomber colourway. So again, picture here of the finished object. So please, Lynn, get hold of me either on Ravelry, via the email address, and we'll sort out getting that yarn to you with a couple of little extras as well. Thank you everyone who's taken part. Thank you everyone who has commented and just been part of that that giveaway. So the winners, if you could please contact me by the 25th of July, that would be great. If I haven't heard from you by the end of July, then I will redraw the prizes. So hopefully that gives you plenty of time to get in touch and to claim your prize. So thank you very much, and I really look forward to getting those things out to you. All the lovely things, so well done, congratulations, and beautiful makes and projects and comments, and everything's lovely. In a world when many things aren't lovely, it's nice to have some lovely things. And how many times in that sentence can I use the word lovely? So that looks like it for the month. July, I'm going to take some time off work in July. I'm sure you all know if you watch this podcast, but I work as a funeral celebrant, and it is an amazing job and I love it, but it does take its toll, and I need sort of fairly regular breaks from it. And if I get to the point where I hate everyone and dread the phone ringing, then it's time to take a break. So that's, you know, they're good indicators, I feel, that it's time for a bit of R&R. Obviously, we're still in a situation where I can't say, oh, let's go away, because places aren't open. Not even sure if I'll be able to get a cup of coffee out or go to the pub or something, but it will be nice to not be working, and I am more than happy to be at home crafting. I've got quite a few things that I'd like to make or finish making, so it might be a bit of a makeation, and that would work for me. So that's all good. So that's July. Well, I had to stop then because my camera had run out of capacity on the disc. I really have been speaking too much. Who would have seen that coming? Thanks everyone for watching, for being part of this. Thank you for liking, subscribing, clicking buttons, commenting. You know I love to hear from you, so thank you so much for that. Wherever you are in the world, please keep safe, please keep well. If you're in an area where COVID numbers, whether they're going up or going down, please keep safe. Please keep sensible about it. We've had episodes here of people being less sensible, and the fear is that the spike is just going to come. So please do keep safe and well. Basically look after yourselves, whatever you do, and that also applies to those who are protesting, speaking out. I am not telling anyone that they should protest in a certain way. I'm the first to say women didn't get the vote because they asked nicely. I know sometimes people have to take actions which others don't like, but they feel it's the right thing to do, and if you feel it's the right thing to do, more power to you. But please keep yourself safe, look after yourselves, and just keep well. We're in very difficult times. If we're still having to say Black Lives Matter, there is something wrong, because of course they do. Well everyone, you take care, you have a good July. If you're in the USA and you're celebrating Independence Day, do enjoy it. And wherever you are in the world, whatever you're doing, keep safe, keep well, keep crafting if you can. I hope it brings you joy and happiness and comfort and all of the things that we do our crafting for. Look after yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good month. See you soon. Thanks then. Bye bye.